understand that in this society, we all, our tax money is going for other people's stuff all the time. My tax dollars go for people's Medicaid, Medicare. I didn't tell you to eat all them pork chops and smoke 2 packs. Why is it my job for my money to go to that? I don't know how you proclaiming to be a believer, but you mad that somebody else got set free. What part of the game is that? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to another episode of Savory and Sucker Free, where candid conversation meets flavorful faith. I am your host, Nicci Page, creator of the Glow Code, the online space for around the way girls who are unashamed of the gospel. And I'm so happy to have you here with me for another episode. As you know, this week we are talking about, let's see if I can put it up there. Yes, student loan forgiveness, fair or foul. As you know, this has been all the rage this week. Probably the biggest news story this past week was Joe Biden announcing a new loan forgiveness program. If you're watching on a replay, make sure that you like the video, like the live stream, make sure that you drop a comment, and that you also subscribe to the channel, please. It's free. Just hit the subscribe button. You know, these people and their algorithm and what they push to the top of, you know, your feeds and stuff. If you want quality content that vibrates on the faith frequency that is often, you know, occasionally semi-entertaining, you really, really, really need to go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and maybe share the video. Child, let me tell you, your girl had all the loans. All the loans, okay? Y'all can say what y'all want about old Sleepy Joe, okay? Say what you want, all right? We still got a little bit of free speech around here, so you could say what you want about old Sleepy Joe. I might have been saying some of the same things. However, when it comes to this student loan situation, when it comes to this getting Navient and Nelnet and Sally Mae and her 3 cousins up off my back, y'all gonna have to leave old Papa Joe, give him 5 feet on that, because I'm gonna tell y'all what he had done for me. Okay. And really it's what the Lord had done for me. And maybe he just used old Joe Biden as his vessel. But I'm gonna tell y'all my testimony as we go forward. They got it messed up. These people out here who are saying, oh, it's not fair. They should pay. They should pay. They took out a loan. They made a commitment. They should fulfill their commitment. I feel you. Okay. But if I pay, the loan should go away. All right. But what's happening is, in my experience and the experience of many people in my circle, we've been paying and that loan been staying. Okay. It has taken up residence. It ain't going nowhere. Ain't no tenant court I could go to. That loan has squatters' rights. Okay. It's not going anywhere. We pay and it stays. And I think there's a misconception out there that like people are not paying their loans. That's a lie. That is a misconception. People are paying on their loans, but the loans are not going away. Okay, that is the problem. And I think that's the more fundamental problem that maybe the government needs to look at. Like, what is going on with the way these loans are structured that is making it that it's almost impossible, short of like being independently wealthy and just having racks on racks on racks on racks on racks to pay. Why is it so hard to discharge this debt? Like, people are paying on it for years and the numbers like not moving or barely moving, or get this, moving in the wrong direction, meaning now you owe more than you actually took out, even though you've been paying for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. If getting your loans forgiven mean you was in the victim Olympics, I'm gonna have to tell you I was in the 70 something $1,000 dash, okay? Lane 3. That was me in the victim Olympics, the 70 something $1,000 dash. And I'm so glad that I have been canceled. Hallelujah. So I hope y'all don't think I was no deadbeat. I'm telling you, I was paying on them joints. I was paying. When I say paying, I don't mean like $25. I was paying hundreds of dollars a month, and the number was not dwindling. It was actually increasing. So when y'all can tell me, when you want to talk about fairness, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to be paying somebody $500 a month for 20 years and your number gets going up instead of down. That's not fair. So can you please write your congressman about that while you complaining about somebody getting a little $10,000? Anyways, now listen, it's some other schools out there where I guess everybody major in communications. I never understood what that was, but I went to a school that don't even have communications as an option. Like that's not even a major. Like what are those? Okay. So I see what you're saying. If you are going to borrow this amount of money to go to school, yes, maybe major in something that is going to be useful. I hear you. However, on the flip side of that, I do think that there is some use to the liberal arts. As a matter of fact, I think it might be something that's necessary as I look in culture and I see children who can barely speak in full sentences, who get all of their information off of YouTube, who haven't read a classic. I think that there's a space and a need for the liberal arts. I don't think basket weaving is one of them, but yeah, don't just assume that because someone majored in liberal arts that that's stupid. And don't assume that everyone who's going to college is majoring in liberal arts. I want to know why. I'm so confused. Like, why are people mad? Like, tell me why you mad, son. Okay, so Bobblehead Mo says we should be focusing on using that money to better schools. Okay, so you mean like to make our elementary and our like secondary schools better, like high school, middle school, for that to be better. Okay, listen, that's a better explanation than I've been hearing from other people, because other people just seem like they jealous. Teachers are underpaid. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. I feel you on that. Um, and low income students do not have proper resources. I feel you on that. You ain't lying. I agree. But my question to you would be, do you think if they didn't use this money to forgive $10,000 in student debt, and I think it goes up to 20,000, but if they didn't use the money for that, if they weren't using the money for this loan program, do you think they were going to use it to better schools? Like, is there anything in the history of, this administration or the past 55 that leads you to believe that anybody's really concerned about bettering schools? Or do you think they're going to send 50-11 more Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine? What you think is more likely to happen with that money? Let me know. They're going to buy some books or they're going to send some bombs. Let me know. What you think they're going to do? If they don't use this money for student loan forgiveness, they're going to buy some books or they're going to send some bombs. What you think is more likely to happen? Because they're going to spend your money somewhere. Am I foul for being okay with them spending it on me? Is that wrong? Let me know. I'm going to touch on to the faith perspective of this. Like, why would a person of faith be upset that someone else's debt is forgiven when we've all had a specific debt forgiven? We're going to talk about it. You said people need to sacrifice. See, this is what I think, and I talked about this. I don't know if you were watching. I think there's a misconception that people are not sacrificing. When I finished law school, I had upwards of $100,000 in student loans. I was paying them. I was paying hundreds of dollars a month, but my loans were not shrinking. The number just kept getting bigger, even though I was paying on them. I was sacrificing. So I'm just here to offer the other half of the equation, just to not think that everybody out there just took out all these loans, were C minus to D students, had no intentions of paying, and majored in basket weaving, and now they're getting free money. I feel like that is sort of the assumption, but I'm telling you that that's not the case. Now, prodigal son parable. So anyone who has any sort of familiarity with the Bible, we've all heard this parable of the prodigal son who got his inheritance early. He asked his daddy for his inheritance early, which he got. Then he squandered it. He was in them streets. He was at the club. He was making it rain. He was buying Gucci belts. He was flying to Tulum. He was doing all the things and spent all his money and ended up in a pig pen. Okay, which for a Hebrew is nasty. So, he finally one day is like, why am I sleeping in a pig pen? My father's rich. Let me go home and see if I can get some mercy. So he goes home and the father's like so happy, sees him in the distance. Oh, my son is coming. The father's not even thinking about the fact that he squandered his inheritance, that was kind of disrespectful, and that he used up his inheritance, so he shouldn't really get nothing else. The son is not expecting to get anything else, but the father throws like not a ball, a feast for him, and welcomes him with open arms and doesn't shame him at all for squandering the inheritance. But his brother was kind of shady McGrady. I'm not gonna say his brother was being like bobblehead. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say his brother was acting like Marjorie Taylor Greene in them, but his brother was salty. Okay, it was like, why is he getting a feast when he squandered the inheritance? I've been here the whole time. I did the right thing. I followed the rules. Why is he the one getting a feast? What's up with that? So I think there's a sort of similar situation going on here where people who have paid off their debt, or people who didn't go to college and found another way in life, feel some type of way like, okay, we did the right thing. We found a way, or we took out loans, but we paid ours back. Why are these people who can't get their stuff together, why are they getting their loans paid? We should be the ones being rewarded for paying ours off, not these people. And I would just encourage us to maybe embrace the idea that instead of, being mad that somebody's loans got paid off, maybe you could look at this as a fellow citizen in many ways being brought from death to life. And I know that sounds dramatic. Obviously, I was never dead, but I spoke earlier about knowing that you owe 6 figures of money and that the interest is capitalized such that even though you are making payments, this principal is never going anywhere. Like, it's just staying there. It's like drip, 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 maybe going down incrementally, but like this loan is just going to be here for the foreseeable future. And to have that debt lifted, it really did feel like a rebirth of some sort. It felt like, okay, now there's a chance. Now I can breathe. Okay, now I'm not like oppressed by this, overwhelming debt. Okay, so I would encourage people, instead of just being mad, that somebody else got a little, mercy, got a little grace, maybe you should be happy for that person instead of being negative about it. I mean, I feel like people are thinking of it like this person is taking something from me. And listen, I'm gonna make myself big on the screen for this. I get it. Because even though I ain't got no kids, I still have to pay my taxes so that your kids can go to public school. I'm not out here marching on Washington about not having kids, so therefore I shouldn't have to pay taxes for school. I'm not getting into no car accidents, but my insurance premium might be high because other people are getting in accidents. My tax dollars go for people's housing, people's food, people's insurance, people's Medicaid, Medicare. I didn't tell you to eat all them pork chops and smoke 2 packs. Why is it my job for my money to go to that? What I'm trying to illustrate is, in our society, we're all paying for something that isn't coming directly to us, but it's under the understanding that a healthy society requires us all to give a little bit, and we all should be receiving a little bit. In fact, this student loan relief is the first time I ever felt like I actually got something from my tax dollars, to be honest. I never went to public school. I went to private school my whole life. I I wasn't on Medicaid. I wasn't on Medicare. I wasn't on welfare. I wasn't on Section 8. I didn't get none of that stuff. I was paying taxes, lots of taxes when I lived in New York City. And I never qualified for anything because I made too much money to qualify for anything, but not enough money to like do anything else. So this student loan forgiveness for me was like actually the first time in my life where I felt like, oh, the government actually did something for me. Isn't that nice? Wonderful. So instead of begrudging someone for getting student loan forgiveness, I would encourage us to, to try to put ourselves in that person's shoes, to try to see it from their perspective, and to understand that in this society, we all, our tax money is going for other people's stuff all the time. So people who are broke because half of their money go to rent and the other half go to student loans, they're paying taxes and they don't have kids because they never felt like they could afford to have kids, but their tax dollars is paying for your public school. Their tax dollars is, paying for somebody else's Section 8. Their tax dollars are paying for somebody else's EBT card. They're tired of standing in the Walmart and looking at everybody in front of them got an EBT card and they're the only person there paying with their own money. Ask me how I know. We're tired of that too. So I'm just saying, maybe just look at it from a different perspective. All right. Two more slides and then we're done. Then we're out of here. Again, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you mad that other people got their student loans forgiven. If you mad that you didn't go to college and you feel like you should have just went to college and got it for free too. Or if you understand that this is intended to help society as a whole, even if it doesn't personally help you, like maybe there's a selfishness issue going on here when we're just upset. Like, who gets upset that somebody else got good news? Like, why are you mad that I got good news? That's a little weird to me. Just a little bit. Especially, as I said, this is a faith-focused channel. Like, I don't know how you proclaiming to be a believer, but you mad that somebody else got set free. What part of the game is that? What part of the game is it for you to be like, I'm a believer, but I want you in shackles? I'm a believer, but I want you oppressed. I'm a believer, but I want you in bondage. Where they do that at? What part of believer is saying, well, I was able to set myself free, so you figure out how to set yourself free. You stay in bondage until you can figure it out. How is that? Where they do, like, what is that about? Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, whatever. The Bible does talk about the wicked borrow and do not repay. So I get it. I'm not out here saying people should just be borrowing money and intentionally in their mind saying, I'm borrowing this with no intentions of repaying. That is wicked. And as I have said multiple times here, many of us who had overwhelming student loan debt, it's not that we had that much debt because we weren't paying. It's that the system itself is wicked and it is set up to keep you from ever being able to pay it off. And I think that is the underlying problem that I would like the government to maybe try to do something about. Like, thank you for this loan forgiveness, but can we do something about the structural problems and how student loans are functioning as a whole? So yes, if we are believers and we do borrow, we are required to repay. Okay. I would just add that I think the system itself is also required to be fair and to be just. If you're going to take $100,000 and let's just say 4% interest, and then you're going to capitalize that interest and keep adding that to the principal such that the person is paying and paying and paying, but the principal is not going down. In fact, it's going up. That is an unjust system. And so if you're going to point the finger at borrowers saying, oh, this is your fault, you shouldn't have took this money and you should pay it back, you should pay. We have been paying. We've been paying for 20 years, but the number just is not going down. And when I say we have been paying, I don't mean, again, like I said, we're not paying $5. We're paying $500. We're paying $550. We're paying $600 a month. And the number's only going down incrementally, mostly because of the capitalized interest. So give people a break. Try to understand, put yourself in the borrower's shoes. All right. So on the one hand, the Bible says you're wicked if you borrow and don't repay. Got it. No issue with that. But the Bible also suggests that there is a point at which you're supposed to let it go. There's a point at which you're supposed to forgive. There's a point at which you're supposed to, again, discharge the debt. So Deuteronomy chapter 15, verses 1 and 2 says, at the end of every 7 years, you must cancel debts. That ain't me. That's the Bible. At the end of 7 years, you must cancel debts. This is how it is to be done. Every creditor shall cancel any loan they have made to a fellow Israelite. Now, obviously, this is speaking specifically from in terms of one Israelite who has loaned money to another Israelite, and obviously, like, Sally Mae ain't no Israelite, but I think the point remains the same. The Bible envisioned that a debt isn't something that you're supposed to take to your grave. Okay. If the loan is set up, and I think the Bible is envisioning a loan that is set up in a just and fair and righteous fashion, a loan that if you are paying on it should be able to be maintained or paid off in a specific amount of time. And so while it's wicked to take out a loan with no intention or no effort to ever repay, I think it is also wicked to give a loan with no intention of it ever being repaid, to give a loan that is set up in such a way that it is almost impossible for this person, short of coming into some windfall or some inheritance or hitting the lotto, to have a lump sum of large money that could knock out some of the principal. If you're making a loan that is set up and structured such that this person is not likely to ever pay it, and so I'm going to hold this person for the rest of their life in bondage to this debt, I think that is also wicked. And we need to do something about that, not just complaining about the $10,000 that somebody's getting, on their $20,000 loan. Also, Psalm 112:5. And I think this gets to the last point that I just made. It is well with a man who deals generously and lends, who conducts his affairs with justice. And I think that is what's missing from our current system of student loan borrowing. Justice. It is just unjust the way that it's done. It's very, again, predatory. I think if you're going to take a 17, 18-year-old to go to the financial aid office and just push a bunch of promissory notes across the table and say, sign here, sign here, sign here, with no real explanation or education as to how these interests work, about how these refund checks work, but if we could have some sort of education before people are signing these loans to tell them what capitalized interests are, or better yet, if the government could do something to legislate that these lenders are not allowed to charge capitalized interest, or not allowed to capitalize interest on student loans. So I think I understand somewhat people's beef, like people feeling like, why are we spending money on that? But I would caution us to not be hard-hearted about this. I would caution us to not begrudge someone else being blessed. That's not a good situation either. I would caution us to not think that everything has to be about us, that we have to get everything. I would encourage us to think about the things that we got that somebody else didn't. I would caution us to be grateful if we were able to pay off our loans, if we were able to make a life for ourselves without going to college. I would encourage us to just be grateful about that. I would encourage us not to assume that life has been a crystal stair for those of us who did borrow and did go to school and did go to Ivy caliber schools. It wasn't all easy. It wasn't all a bed of roses. There was work, there was suffering, and there was sacrifice for many years involved in that. And so, I don't know. That was my spiel on it. I get you. I understand possibly the fleshly desire to be mad that somebody else got some good news, but like, who wants to be that guy? Who wants to be the person that's mad because someone else has something positive happen? Like, if this ain't the haterade, if this ain't the hateration, I don't know what is. Everybody's paying taxes, and that tax money is going to something that doesn't personally and directly help them. So if we go down this path of, well, I didn't go to college, so why do my tax dollars have to go to pay off your student loans? If we let that ball start running, then where does it end? I don't have kids, so I shouldn't pay my taxes for public school. Only people who have children should pay that. Oh, well, I don't need welfare, so none of my money should go to welfare. I'm not elderly, so none of my money should go to Medicare. Oh, I'm not, like, that's just, we can't have that. This is a society where we are all supposed to be contributing, and hopefully we're all receiving something. Okay? So I get it, but no. Like I said, when I got that email saying my debt was relieved, that my student loans had been canceled, when I tell you Jesus paid it all, okay? All my sins and griefs and interest rates to bear, honey. He washed it white as snow. And I don't feel bad about it. And you're not going to make me feel bad about it. You're not going to make me feel like I'm in victim Olympics. You're not. You're not. And if I was in the victim Olympics, I got the gold medal on that one, lane 3. Okay. Listen, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Y'all not gonna shame me for getting some student loan relief. Like I said, that's the first time I ever felt like my tax dollars actually went to me. I had felt for years like I'm paying taxes and I ain't getting no Medicaid, I ain't getting no Medicare, I ain't getting no Section 8. I ain't got no kids in public school. What? It was before Obamacare, so y'all not paying for my insurance or nothing. So this was the first time I felt like I was actually getting a return on my investment. So I understand if people would like there to be something, requiring a little more than just you graduated and now you get forgiven. I get that. If it needs to be, okay, 2 years of service, 5 years of service, or we want to see that you do have some skin in the game, so make this many payments and then we can talk about forgiveness. I'm just for fairness. That's all. And I just don't think it's fair to tell kids, really, because you're 17, 18 years old when you apply to college, that the only way to a good life is to go to college. One, to tell people that, which I don't believe that to be true, but that is what particularly my generation was told, to tell people that, to tell them you need to go to the best college, the highest ranked college you can go to, and then for these colleges to raise their prices like exponentially, and then for these banks to charge interest and then capitalize the interest such that your principal never really goes down unless you're able to basically double your payments. I just think that that is unfair. And so we just need to, I would be in favor of restructuring the entire system. I definitely think that we need to reevaluate, that we need to recalibrate, and that we need to just come on out and quit playing games and say that a lot of this college pricing and college ranking is scam city. It's scammerific, because some of these colleges, how are you in the 4th tier, but you charging $40,000? Where they do that? I think public service careers should be forgiven, but not some fluffy degree with no real contribution to society. I Listen, I feel you. I hear you. And I think that this is definitely room for compromise. We're not paying this for you to go to college, join a sorority or fraternity, barely go to class, be at every party, major in communications, and then be back on your mama's couch. I get it. I understand both sides. I just think there needs to be more fairness on both sides. I definitely think people need to be more accountable and more responsible and quit going to college when you know you barely went to high school. Like, I even have cousins in my family. Like, son, why? What are you doing? What are you doing? We had to pray that you made it out of high school. You know you don't even like school. You wouldn't even go to school when it was mandatory. You think you're gonna wake up and go when nobody's making you? What are you doing? Why are we doing this? At least test it out at the community college first before you go spending $40,000 on somebody's college. Nicci for president. Child, it would never work. This mouth right here. I would be on every hot mic saying every inappropriate thing, and not inappropriate in terms of like the wording, because I don't really have a foul mouth, but inappropriate in terms of like we wasn't prepared for all that truth. No, we didn't come here for that. We came here for platitudes, and you're trying to talk to us about principles? Who invited you? It would be a problem. And I'm not trying to kiss nobody baby. Get that baby out my face. It's cute, but I'm not trying to shake all these people's hands. People got monkeypox. People don't wash their hands. I don't know how people run for office. That is too much. You gotta hug people. People throw their baby in your face. Yes, exactly. I would keep it real, but you know, people claim they want folks to keep it real with them. They don't. Stay connected. So follow me on Instagram at _ the glow code, on Facebook, and on Twitter. I don't really be on them Twitters too much, but that's my Twitter handle. Really on Instagram is where I post the most. Instagram and YouTube. So follow me so that we can stay in touch and so that you can get your daily doses of glow and inspiration on Instagram. Well, I have talked more than I thought I would, y'all, but I know y'all not surprised because that's what she do. Anyways, I hope that you guys all have a great week. For those of you who are going to be getting student loan forgiveness, I'm happy for you. I'm not hating on you. I feel you because I was a recipient as well. But I would encourage you, once you get these loans forgiven, go out, be productive, make contributions, and don't fix your lips to be mad at somebody else who is getting some other benefit. Don't get this loan forgiveness and then be mad at somebody else getting Section 8, okay? And don't be on Section 8 mad because I got some student loan forgiven. Don't be getting your little farm subsidies and then want to talk about me for getting my loans forgiven. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you be out there getting every tax break known to man, woman, child, and alien, but then you mad at me for getting some student loan relief. Stop it. We all hopefully are contributing and getting something back. And for those of you who out there not contributing purposely, just choosing to not contribute at all, in no way, no job, no school, no nothing, you just laying up, wasting your life, God is not pleased. God is not pleased. So I would encourage you to quit thinking you're just going to scam your whole way through life on the free and not have to explain yourself. And not just in terms of you paying taxes, but just in terms of you not living up to the call on your life, in terms of you not fulfilling the destiny that is in you. If you're breathing and you're alive and you're here for a purpose and with a purpose. And if you just laying up watching 8 episodes of Maury Povich every day, not working, not doing nothing, that wasn't the mission that he sent you here with. It was not. So for those of you who are not contributing and just want to scam your way through life, that's not a good look either. So let's all be good to one another. Let's love each other. Let's take care of one another. Let's be happy for one another when we get good news. Let's know that God has enough. Because I think a lot of times we get stuck thinking, oh, I'm mad that they got something because that means I'm not getting something. Nope. That's a pagan mentality, my friends. Our Heavenly Father has all the things. He has more than enough. So we don't have to begrudge another person for getting something. We don't have to begrudge another person for getting a handout. Because no matter what's being handed out by any government program, at the end of the day, the person who's really handing it out is the Most High God. It all belongs to him. Okay, so let's love each other. Let's care for one another. Let's be productive. Let's be responsible. Let's take accountability for our actions. Let's make better decisions. Let's educate our communities and our children so that we can make good financial decisions. Let's restructure and fix this student loan scammy system that we got going to make it more just. And let's fix these colleges that's overcharging for no apparent reason other than profit and grift. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to say. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I was trying to make it a little lighter, but we get heavy over here sometimes. I don't know what to tell you. But I hope you all have a great week. As we always say before we leave here at the Glow Code, I want you all to know the code, live the code, light the world, hit the link in the chat. See me at Soul Glow September, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button before you leave. If you're watching this on the replay, subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment. I will see you guys soon. Peace.